Hey, there's a first time for everything, right?
They're the first time for everything.
Yeah,
Mr.
this is
Vandenbroek.
the first time we are doing a podcast outside of the NBC Sports studio at Levi Stadium.
We're outside. We are indeed
It's
outside.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. I mean, yeah, we're inside a tent, and you can see our billboard and stuff along with the fence, but it's a beautiful day outside, and it's just a wonderful day for softball.
That it is. I know. It's beautiful out here in Livermore. It's perfect weather you could ask for. We're in our tent, so we don't get more sunburnt like you did yesterday.
I mean, this weather is 10 times better than what it was last year. The
That's true.
Stampede had to be canceled.
That's right.
They weren't able to put it together. Instead, they had some sort of doubleheader that they put together on Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah, that is right. But welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vandenbroek, alongside Tyler Flipson. A special episode here covering the Livermore Stampede. In a bit, we're going to be featuring multiple athletes from different schools that are competing in the Livermore Stampede, and this is just a fun, exciting tournament. This is the best of NorCal softball right here.
Yeah, Jake, why don't you break down a little bit about what the Livermore Stampede is, why we're here and how these teams all get here and, the happenings, what's going on.
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, this is the best of what NorCal softball has to offer. And this is like an excellent opportunity to have your previews on what we could expect come the postseason with the NCS playoffs, the CCS playoffs. We have some teams that are competing in the Sac Joaquin with Sheldon and Whitney. And this is also an excellent opportunity to see what could we see when it comes to NorCal softball. But sometimes that doesn't help when teams are beating up on each other.
That's right.
I mean, it's all the chaos that is happening in the East Bay League. You never know what you're going to get out of there with when you got Amador Valley, Livermore, Cal, SRV, Carondelet. When those teams are beating up on each other, I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get with seeding. And here you got the Stampede, and this is just a wonderful opportunity to play a bunch of these other East Bay League teams if you're in the East Bay League, and then also teams outside that league.
That's right. I'm ecstatic with all the teams that are here. And not to mention that, like you talked about, and I mentioned on last week's episode, some of these teams are going to see each other again.
Yep.
They're going to see each other again. They're going to play each other again once we get to those playoffs. But I'll tell you what, with all those teams that you mentioned, there's some bright stars out here. And with how bright that they are, I need some sunglasses because let me tell you, they are sensational. We got some sensational games coming and some sensationally bright interviews coming our way. So that's why I got the sunglasses out.
Yep, absolutely. And, talking about these teams, there are some teams that have made some big surprises.
Yeah.
And one of those being the Benicia Panthers.
Oh, my goodness.
Coming
Benicia.
out of that Diablo League,
Yeah.
they had a big day yesterday because in the Stampede, you face 3 games in pool play. One day you're going to be playing 1 game. The other day you're going to be playing 2 games, right?
Yep.
So you got to keep in mind, it's all about the timing because some of these games, actually, as a matter of fact, I said some of these games, majority of these games haven't been able to go to 7 innings. This is hour-and-a-half softball, and it's like I said, it's very important for these teams to get off to fast starts. And with Benicia, what they were able to do last week, they beat Carondelet. You'll see the highlights of that on our show coming up Sunday night on NBC Sports California. They went on to beat Carondelet, and then the night game, they faced Granada. And that was a big statement win for those Panthers.
I really am thoroughly shocked. Benicia has always had a great program, great coaching, great athletes come out there. But 2 big statement wins yesterday. I mean, that's nothing that I would say I saw coming personally. So I'm stoked to see it and what's to come here when we get into finals that come tomorrow on Saturday here.
Absolutely. And they wrap up pool play tonight, and they have a big showdown against St. Francis.
That's right. And we know how good St. Francis is, right?
Yep.
And after those 2 big wins last night, I think that's the perfect team to face against to kind of see what they're made of.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, when you have games 90 minutes long, we talk about the importance of jumping off to a fast start. It is super crucial in this tournament, and it's not easy. Not easy to do. And that is going to be key once we figure out the brackets, because there's going to be a championship bracket, a second place bracket, and this is all split down with the pool plays because it's very important to win your pool division.
Yeah.
So, the game is going to already take place by the time we upload this, but at this time, Livermore, they're going to face a tough test against Whitney. 2-0 versus 2-0. Winner of that game, they go to the championship bracket.
Exactly.
So these pool play games are super crucial. Super crucial. And Benicia St. Francis, as we mentioned, 2-0 versus 2-0 in that case. We'll see what happens there.
And to backtrack a little bit too, with this, the way the Stampede is set up here, that is an hour-and-a-half drop dead, no matter where you're at in the 7th or not. It becomes a little bit of a chess match. It's a different style of softball because if you're ahead, you kind of want to drain that clock.
Right.
You kind of run into a football situation where I'm running the ball to kill the clock there if I'm ahead, right? Or, you want to play fast, you want to play hard if you're down. So it's a definitely different style play of softball with the clock involved. So that's, again, another reason to enjoy so much of what the Livermore Stampede has to bring.
Right, absolutely. And you talk from like a hitter's point of view. I mean, you gotta get runners on base early to get those knocks in, right? Or those RBIs. I mean, I feel like it changes a little bit of the hitter's approach whenever you step up into the box, whenever that situation comes. Maybe you don't take the first pitch and you go right at it.
Yeah.
Examples like that. Maybe if you're usually a 2-strike hitter, maybe you just take one pitch. Something
maybe
like
you're
that,
not.
Right? Yeah, maybe you're not. You just go for it. But then also, if you're winning, sometimes it's like, do you lag a little bit of time if you're the pitcher? If you got that lead, you might as well just coast your way to the final minutes of the ball game because, this is only 90 minutes. You're not playing 7 innings unless you're in the championship game.
That's right. I know. It's really cool to see, and you guys can't see behind the cameras, but we have a field on our left and our right. Not only in foul ball territory, but we're in the middle of all the action. Not to mention, it's drifting this way. I smell a little barbecue. I know there's some good food over there. I saw a smoker. I saw barbecue. So there's good eats here. There's good softball. I mean, I don't think there's anything. El Chico Barbecue.
Yep.
A quick shout out. There we go.
Yeah,
El Chico
absolutely.
Barbecue.
I had the tri-tip yesterday.
Oh, you spoiled it. You were supposed to wait for me.
Well, I had 3 games, man. I had 3 games, and the tri-tip is fantastic.
Okay.
I mean, we talk about tri-tips with like Valley Christian, Pittsburgh, Salinas. This is up there. This is pretty darn good tri-tip.
I'm excited.
This is you won't be disappointed.
Okay, I can't wait.
You will not be disappointed. But really quick before we go to break, who is one team that has surprised you?
Truthfully, we touched on this top of the show open. Here's Benicia. Benicia has shocked me in the way that I am exhilarated, to say the least, to see their matchup against St. Francis. Because, I mean, to beat 2 good teams like they did yesterday and then coming to St. Francis today, and, I mean, these pool plays mean a lot, as you said, to beat a dead horse here. So, ultimately, it comes down to me. Benicia is the no-brainer for me.
The energy that the Liberty Lions brought, the Liberty Lions. I mean, Adrian Soriano released the poll, and I was surprised myself that the Liberty Lions weren't a bubble team, even. Sure. I was shocked. I mean, they should have been on the poll or even in the bubble. And what they did to Cal was just tremendous. They have hitters that can hit 1 through 9. The defense is superb. Case Skinner is a great pitcher, that wonderful southpaw pitcher, and she can throw strikes, and she can command the strike zone, to say the least. But, I mean, Liberty's got the talent. They have all the hitters. Sure. Jewel Cooper, just a sophomore, and just raking the at-bats, raking the knocks, and she's just having a wonderful season. Be on the lookout for those Lions.
Yeah. All right, well, I can't wait.
I know they only played 1 game heading into today, but they really made a big spark. And we're going to be talking to one of the players coming up next. Her name is Kelsie Skaggs. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to the Cover Cal High podcast, and we're joined by the one and only Kelsie Skaggs. Kelsie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You guys are off to a wonderful start in pool play with the Stampede, with that nice 13-6 victory that you guys took over Cal. Just talk about what was working for the team and how were you guys able to find momentum early?
Yeah, well, our bats were alive all game yesterday's game. Just from the start, we knew. We started off, we were home team, so we were on defense first. Cal struck first, and that just lit a fire under our butts. And automatically, as soon as we were in the dugout, energy was high. We knew we needed to come back and have our pitchers back. Yep. And from there, it was just passing the bats and staying hot throughout the game.
Does the game change differently because these games, majority of the time, as a matter of fact, they don't go to 7 innings.
Yeah.
This is just your typical 90 minutes of softball and just try to get it's on a time. Does that change your approach when you're in the batter's box or when you're trying to when you have Case Skinner out there pitching for you? Does that change a little bit of the speed and the time and the pace and all that?
Yeah, well, Kate sets her own tone as it is. She's a beast in the circle, and just having her electric energy and the way she just controls that circle, that sets a different tone. And then going batter's box wise, it really doesn't. Time doesn't really affect it. I mean, we want to set the tone early in the game no matter what, seven innings or 90 minutes, but I would say 90 minutes or not, we just want to pound early.
For sure.
Tell me a little bit about what the Stampede means to you individually as well as your team, speaking for your team, because this seems like, in a way, it's the Super Bowl to a lot of these teams here, right? It means a lot to you guys. So tell me what it means to you personally as well as your team.
Competition and just getting that name out there. Like Liberty, we solidified, but I mean, coming out here, you can prove yourself. This is the best of the best competition in this area. And so to come out here and compete with all these great athletes, it gives us the opportunity to show we're there and that we can compete just as good as anyone else.
And it's a great experience to see these teams to prepare for the postseason.
Yeah.
With NCS, CCS, the postseason. And, there's a good chance that you're going to be squaring off against some East Bay League teams coming on in the postseason. But what you guys did over the course of the season last year, you guys really made a statement. This program won its first ever league title in like 29 years.
Yeah.
What does it mean for you to be a part of that?
Everything. I mean, I love these girls. Our coach always preaches that this is a sisterhood, and it really is. We play for each other, we play for our coaches, and it's something amazing. Just overall, Liberty as a school, as a community, all of it. It's amazing.
Now, our Milpitas man, the one and only Adrian Soriano, he had you as a bubble, Liberty. Where do you think you guys should be ranked in the polls?
If I'm 100% honest, yesterday we were talking about it before the game. We were like, we're going to pop that bubble today. We were like, it's go time. Let's get it. Let's prove ourselves. Let's just play our game. And I think we did exactly that yesterday.
So if you have to guess, where's Adrian going to put you in the poll come next week?
I'm hoping up higher. I'm not. It's
okay,
just,
no fixed number.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in the bubble. Pop
yeah,
the bubble.
Not in the
Got
bubble.
It.
And you'll be taking your softball talents next year to UNLV. Take me through that recruiting process on why you decided to go with UNLV.
Well, after June 1st, it's just going to other colleges, and in comparison, people always talk about athletes, especially when you go to that school, you have that feeling, when you're in love and when it's your home, and UNLV really felt like that for me.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say. UNLV, I mean, fantastic choice, and what separated UNLV from the rest? I showed there was other schools. There's one of our softballs. It's one of our cameras there. We were talking about that inevitable. Still part of
this
it.
is a bit of a danger zone.
First time for everything. Let's hope the camera's okay there. But moving on, what separated UNLV from the rest of the pack when it came to the recruiting process, as Jake mentioned?
I'll say specifically Coach Fox, my head coach. She was played at University of Arizona herself and won multiple titles, and just herself, I loved her. Me and her just had a shortstop relationship, and that itself was a lot. And then all the rest of the coaching staff, even the girls were so welcoming and everything. And I always said personally that I wanted to go to school with a little bit of flavor, and UNLV's it's UNLV.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously the recruiting process can take forever.
Yeah.
It's a long time, and it can be a bit exhausting.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, you like this school, and it's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of this school. But just talk about, what did it come down to with UNLV?
Ooh, it really was just the feeling, because I'm going to other schools. It was amazing having the opportunity to go and explore other schools and have that too, but something about UNLV just felt like home for me. It really did overall, and it's actually really close to home for me too. I could be home within 2 hours with a flight and everything, and that was really big for me.
Without a doubt. I mean, and so let's take you away from the softball field.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You duck hunt?
No, actually, I went for the first time a month ago or so with my boyfriend. And
along.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing my homework, looking at some stats, I had to look up your Instagram page for that. I saw duck hunting, so I was some hobbies, So outside of that, maybe what were you doing off the softball field, maybe when you make your way to Las Vegas too?
Besides school, obviously school, recently just with this tournament and everything, school has been second priority, or not first priority, but taking over the rest of the time. But besides school, I'd say a lot of family time. I love spending time with my family no matter what it is. My brothers have been home recently because they live both out of state, so just spending time with them. And just being outside, hunting. That was cool for the first time. hiking, everything. We go around locally. My brother lives in San Francisco, so we go out there, go to the beach sometimes. And Giants games, I went to one the other weekend, and that was really fun. But just taking every opportunity can to have some fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, so with this team, this Liberty team, you're down 2. You got runners in scoring position, 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. You're the home team. Who's getting that last at bat that delivered the clutch walk off?
Whoever's hot, whoever has that confidence, whoever can go up there and just. I think honestly, I have faith in anyone on our team to go up there and do that. Especially with our support and us being as loud as we are in the dugout, I think anyone on our team can go out there and walk that game off.
And finally, what does Coach Cindy Macias mean to you?
Everything. Both of them. They're just Coach Cindy. I've been playing against them forever outside of travel ball and when I was my freshman year. So we've known each other for a really long time, and it's always just that funny banter and everything. But now playing for her and seeing how great of a coach she is, and Brandy too, it's a different feeling. It's just they're like parents in a way, like not even parents, but like it's just. I trust them with everything, and I know that they're there for me and they're there for the girls and that they're putting everything into it, and that just means everything.
That's sweet. I love it.
Yeah. And really quick, though. Really quick. I swear. Okay. So let's say you forget the most 3 important items that you would take to a game. It would be a bat, a glove, and a pair of cleats. Which are you keeping, and which 2 items are you like, okay, I'm okay
2 items not having?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which item do you really need?
Personally, I've realized the importance of cleats because I just switched my cleats and my other ones had a hole in them. So
how about those ones right there? Why don't you show us what you got there? Those cleats, you good?
I would say keep the cleats and maybe. No, I take that back. I'd keep my glove. My glove's everything. And then I'd borrow some cleats or wear some turfs and borrow a bat. I'd keep the glove.
Some turfs.
Yeah, some
turfs.
turfs.
On this. Good luck out here in this.
Hey, the one and only Kelsie Skaggs. Kelsie, thank you so much for joining me. Up next, and Tyler, I should say.
No problem.
And Tyler. But up next, we get to see the Northwestern commit, Laine Macosky. She's going to be sitting down with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Cover Cal High podcast, and we're now joined by Laine Macosky from Livermore High School. Laine, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for joining us. You guys are off to a wonderful start in the Stampede, 2-0. You guys were able to roll past Alameda, and then you guys had a great game facing off against Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom. I had to think about that one for a quick second, but we got it. Just talk about the great start that you guys are having thus far in this Stampede.
Yeah, we're super excited to be starting. We've been preparing for this for a while, just like practicing, and like we know this is a big thing. Like so many people come. And all the teams here are so great. So, we've been like mentally and physically preparing for this. So we've had a good start.
And it's a wonderful opportunity to go up against the best of what NorCal softball has to offer. There's no question about it. Just talk about what that experience has been like for you, not just for this season, but your past 3 years with being part of this program.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pressure that comes with it from being in such a good program and like facing these really great teams in a great league and everything. But we're all in it together and we all manage the pressure mentally and we're all there for each other. So it's been great. It's really fun being on this team.
Yeah. And speaking on the topic of success, I mean, you're a 3-year varsity player, and I'm going to roll through some stats that you probably know, and just so our viewers know too, through 64 games play, a .415 batting average, a .467 on-base percentage on 83 hits, and 52 RBIs in your 3-year varsity career. Talk about where does that success come from? I mean, that's an impressive line to go through there. Where does that come from? Where does that stem from? Who's your rock through all that?
Yeah, thank you. It's just a lot of hard work, and obviously support. Like, I have amazing parents who are always pushing me to, be better and work harder.
Yep.
And then all my coaches and everything, they're always there for me, with training and mechanics and all that. So yeah, I just have an amazing support system around me that pushes me to do better. and, stay in my lane and work hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I got to ask you, you talked about a little bit about that pressure when you guys are facing against some of the best teams in NorCal softball. But for you personally, when you have the lineup card and you're hitting at the third spot, do you feel a little pressure when it's like, okay, Laine has to get a knock, Laine has to get a knock? Do you feel any of that, or do you just go into your routine and just do your thing up in the box?
I definitely feel pressure from that, like being in that third spot and being at short and everything. But I mean, the pressure's been there for a long time in my life, so I'm kind of used to it by now. And I found a way to kind of like cope with that and manage that stress and pressure. So
probably embrace it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Lean into it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Pressure makes diamonds.
Right.
That they do.
Yep. And you have a quick bat, but I mean, you flash the leather when it comes to defense at short. I mean, that backhand stop that one play of the week
that
on
was
our show.
Insane.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. And to nab the runner out, and you're throwing from your knees to get the runner out. And that's a really fast runner that Amador Valley's got over there in that situation. When you're thinking about making that throw, does it just happen?
I don't think. Like when plays like that happen, I just kind of do it. I'm like on autopilot.
Right.
So, yeah.
Probably the best way to be.
Yeah,
I'd
it
imagine,
honestly
right? Kind of
is.
black out and just let the moment unfold as it may, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're going to be taking your talents over to Northwestern University.
Yep.
And you committed. You're locked in on Big Ten softball over there. Take me through the recruiting process.
Yeah. So Northwestern, they were my #1 school. Like, I watched them for a while, and I really loved the program they had there. So I went to camps and everything, and I just loved the coaches. So I was so grateful when they reached out to me, and I took advantage of that. And when I visited there, it was amazing. The people there, they all are so welcoming, and they all want you to succeed. It's a great program. I'm so grateful to be going there.
You like purple?
Yeah.
Good color?
Yeah.
Big switch up from the green and gold, green and yellow,
Yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
think purple looks good on you?
Mhm.
All right, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
it's exciting to see. I think Northwestern's going to have a good pick with you there. I have to ask you, as far as here at the Livermore Stampede, kind of a two-part question. Being from Livermore, do you feel like this is somewhat of a home game for you guys being here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Little League, we play here. I've been here so many times in my life, so like it's definitely a home base. Yeah.
And then the second part of that question for me being is, you absolutely, I can imagine that it's one game at a time. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself. But, I mean, there's so many good teams out here. Is there someone that you guys have your eye on, someone that you got to look out for, and like probably your favorite matchup for this tournament?
Well, I'm really excited for our next game against Whitney because, I feel like they have a lot of good players, and they also are 2-0, I think. So I'm excited for that matchup. But, yeah, we're just trying to take it one game at a time, like one inning at a time, honestly.
Sure.
Just to stay in the moment and to reach for that next goal to win the thing.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of D1 talent out here. And there's a lot of recruiters that are looking for other people that could be some top prospects for the years to come. For those underclassmen that are freshmen, sophomore, or even juniors, when they go through the recruiting process, what's the best advice that you would give them?
I would say just keep working hard. Like, everything works out. There's a place for everyone. Yeah, just, like, trust the process, honestly. Like, if you just work hard, do your thing, it all will work out. And, there's a lot of pressure around it, but it's a privilege, and it works out.
The East Bay League is so competitive. You never know what to expect. And I feel like that's for every sport.
Yeah.
With football,
Oh my gosh.
basketball, especially softball, when everyone's beating each other with SRV beating Carondelet beating Cal, and, Livermore beating Dublin, Granada beating Livermore. It's just back and forth, and it makes this league so fun to cover.
Oh, it's always
it
a
really
blast.
does. That's got to be a bit of a headache to, like, you just don't know. But, hey, whoever makes a run at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, it's a tough league. This season especially, I feel like there have been some like ups and downs with people, and it's just kind of crazy right now.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm good. I'm loving it. I mean, actually, you know what? I do want to ask, because I'm watching out here, a couple games going. You have your visor on. You got a day game. I'm going to give you a situation puts you in here.
Okay.
You got a day game, and you got to choose one. Visor or sunglasses? Which one you taking?
Visor all
Visor
day.
all day.
Yeah, I don't really use sunglasses.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see out here. Some people are running no visor, no sunglasses, so I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting.
I feel like the visor, it serves as like a shade and also like a headband to keep your hair away.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Valid.
Okay, let's say you're running late and you forgot like the 3 most important items. It's a glove, a bat, and your cleats. Which one of those 3 items do you really need?
Your
If you had to pick one.
Your glove. That's like the one thing you can't borrow from another person. Like your glove is your baby. Like you need that glove. So,
We're 2 for 2 on glove answers.
yeah.
2 for 2.
Didn't Kelsie say cleats?
No, she switched up her answer.
Okay.
She said she'd borrow some turfs and go with the glove. She'd run turfs instead.
That's
out
right,
here.
that's
so 2 for
right.
2 on glove answers.
That's
So
right.
you're leaving the bat and cleats behind?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even if you're on
I
turfs
can,
out here
I
on
can
this loose
borrow a
dirt?
teammate's bat. I can run over to Dick's Sporting Goods, get some cleats real quick. But glove, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I respect it. All right. all
And
right.
finally, my last question for you is, who is that one person that has pushed you to be at your very best day in and day out? And why?
Definitely my mom. She's always there for me. She's always pushing me. Like, I'm tired. She'll give me a whole motivational speech to why I should go out in the garage and hit that day. Like, she's just, yeah, she's my main supporter. And I'm so grateful for her and everything she does. Like, I don't know where I would be without her, honestly.
So sweet. I love
Awesome.
that. Great
Awesome.
answer.
Laine Macosky, thank you so much for joining me. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to their rival from Granada. You don't want to miss that. Okay, so we planned on having Delaney as our next guest, but we had to bring in Aubrey Ingram, who hit that 2-run bomb to seal it for those Matadors as they were able to take down Carondelet 2-0. Ladies, thank you for joining us.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so let's talk about that at bat. I mean, it's the top of the 6th inning. You guys are trying to get something going, and you just cranked that ball deep.
We had a front row seat right here for it.
I know. Walk me through the at bat.
Okay, so at the time it was 0-0 ball game. I walked up to the plate needing to get a hit, and I just saw the pitch down the middle, and I swung and hit it.
So
T-ball, hit ball.
C-ball, hit ball.
A to C. A to C. That's what your coaches have been teaching you. And hey, that ball went really far. Really far. So a great win for you guys. And you guys are going up against St. Francis next. We're going to have highlights of that game on our show Sunday night, 6 and 10 p.m. on NBC Sports California. What's the one thing that you're looking forward to this next game for you, Aubrey?
I'm looking forward to get more hits and just work together as a team.
Absolutely. And you know who has a lot of hits all throughout her high school career? Delaney Almua, and there's a reason why her Instagram handle is Dingers by Delaney.
Yeah.
I love that. I love every ounce of that.
So why Dingers by Delaney? How did that come about?
I mean, honestly, so me and my family were in my living room. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like COVID, and my dad had mentioned probably like starting up an Instagram or a Twitter or something. So we were trying to like, just putting my name wasn't too basic. So me and my sister kind of just were like naming things off, like something Delaney, and she was like Dingers by Delaney, and I was like, I
Too
mean, that
easy.
flows too good, so we had to do it.
Yeah, too easy. And whenever Delaney Almua
It's a dinger.
gets up to bat, you can expect a dinger.
In case you need a quick stat line, you said a lot of hits, and a lot of hits to be exact is 70 hits throughout your 3-year varsity career. I mean, truly impactful, not to mention the 520 on-base percentage. I mean, you put up numbers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt behind it. Talk about some of your success. I mean, what goes into that?
I mean, I put a lot of work in. Definitely off season. I mean, travel ball. Obviously, it's like pretty much softball nonstop. So, just working, in my own backyard, maybe at a local park. Kind of just working on my mechanics. Working with my hitting coach Sean Ching. We work on, basically everything we do out here, so that when I get in game, it's just basically see ball, hit ball. Makes everything easier. Slow the game down a little bit in my head too.
And then Aubrey, I mean, being a young athlete like yourself, a sophomore in varsity, to have a role model here, just like Delaney, talk about how you look up, how do you want to exemplify your game after Delaney and so forth, the leader that she is?
Well, I look up to the upperclassmen, and they teach me like new skills and how to get better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you mentioned you being a sophomore. What is it like just being that sophomore and playing such a huge role for this team?
I mean, I think it's really fun to get the opportunity to be on varsity and play together.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's for you, Delaney? You're a senior. You're going to be heading off to Auburn. First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Get to be playing some SEC softball.
Yeah.
But for you being part of this program, Delaney, for all 4 years of your varsity career, what's the one thing that you're going to miss the most being part of this program?
Definitely the friendships. I think all 4 of my years, our team was very close, like super, quick to just bond. And yeah, they make practice fun. They make games fun. I mean, team dinners are super fun. So definitely just the lifelong relationships that I'm creating.
And not to mention just, the leadership on the softball field, but also your entire class. You're the class president, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
No, yeah.
So talk about Granada and just the entire school there. I mean, you're the class president, right? You represent your class, your school. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I really like working, close with my entire class. I think Granada has great culture, and we do a really good job of just working together to, improve our school, improve the environment. So
yeah,
I think it definitely pays off when I get to the softball field, having some good leadership skills.
Yeah, and I want to talk about with travel ball and high school ball. And I feel like it's just year round with like the recruiting and not just the recruiting itself, but also just the fact of just it's the grind, the daily grind. How is that for you mentally?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it definitely does get hard sometimes, but I think the biggest thing for me is just knowing when you need a break and taking the break. I feel like softball is a lot, not only on your body, but on your head. So I just feel like kind of just getting away from it sometimes, maybe, just taking a day off, taking a week off can definitely help you. And I think that helps me kind of stay locked in when I need to be ready to go.
This East Bay League is crazy in softball.
Yeah.
Teams are beating up on teams, and for us media, you never know what to expect. You really don't. So, Aubrey, what is it going to take for this Granada team to make a run to the postseason and even further on to championships and NorCals and stuff like that?
Well, I think we just needed to keep putting in the work to get better and keep working together as a team.
You want to touch more on that, Delaney?
Yeah, I mean, we're working really hard in practice right now. Definitely trying to do better at working together, kind of talking to each other more on the field, and I think just stringing hits together. Obviously, I mean, we have a pretty strong lineup, but kind of just getting single after single is what we're working on, so we can score as many runs as we can.
Okay, so I gotta ask you. So social media, this is what we got going on.
The fun part.
Okay, so you have 3 important items that you bring. You have your cleats, you have your bat, and your glove. So if you had to bring one item with you to a game that you really needed, what would that one item be? And you got to leave the other 2 items.
Out of those 3?
Yeah, out of those 3.
I mean, for me, it's a bat. I love to hit, so it's got to be a bat. I can't do anything without a bat. Yeah.
I'll just rip it.
Yeah.
What about you, Aubrey?
I think I would choose my glove because I like working hard on defense.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that now, if we're up to date, it's 2 for 3 on gloves and 1 for 3 on bats.
Wow.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
0 for on the cleats. No one said cleats.
Well, at first, Kelsie from Liberty said cleats.
Went back on it.
Do you give her half credit on the cleats?
No.
Okay.
I love it. I love the bat answer, though. That was
Oh,
great.
my gosh. Aubrey Ingram, Delaney Almua, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in your next game against St. Francis. And speaking of St. Francis, we'll have Ava Bulanti on the pod. Stay with us. Well, here she is, the one and only Ava Bulanti. Ava, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are off to a wonderful start. You guys are having a great season. You guys are off to a good start at the Stampede, taking down Carondelet for the 1. What were some of the things that were working in that game last time, and what are you looking to build off of as you guys are going to be diving more into pool play?
Yeah, definitely. I would say as a team, it's really important for us to know the team that we're playing beforehand. So that means talking amongst ourselves and saying like what we know about the pitcher, what we know about the defense, everything like that, being prepared.
Sure.
And then also starting before the game, getting our energy up, being really excited. I think that makes a huge difference in the game. How we play and how we talk amongst ourselves, energy's huge. Yeah.
How's the energy coming off the bus? We got you fresh off the bus.
Oh,
really
yeah.
just got here.
Yeah.
How's the energy of the team as you guys arrive here? How are you feeling going
It's
into
really
today?
good. We just got some food, so we're ready to go. We're really excited. Listening to some pregame music,
Okay.
getting ready. We brought our speaker today, so we'll be
Let's
nice
go.
and loud. Yeah.
Okay.
What's
There
the
you go.
pregame meal?
Pre-game meal. So we stopped at a shopping center. I went to Sourdough and Co. I got a
Nice.
sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah, feeling
All
good.
Okay,
You
love it.
can't go wrong with that.
That's actually some good fuel.
So out of our featured games, so we have the Chick-fil-A sportsmanship game, and then we got our Crumble Cookies game of the week.
Rumble
If
for
you
the
had
crumble.
to pick one, what would it be? Which one?
I'd pick Crumble. I gotta say, I'm not even gonna lie. I already had Crumble this week, so I'm a regular there.
She's a
I'll say
regular.
that.
They know
Yeah.
you by name?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm kind of a big deal. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
And you are a big deal because you're going to be taking your softball talents over to Stanford. What made you want to stay close to home?
Oh, definitely the community. I was super, super happy when I started to see that it might be an option. I talked to my parents, I talked to my coaches. It seemed like a really good fit, and it is. And I was really happy to share that with everyone around me. My family members, like my neighbors, my coaches, like
Yeah.
the community all came together. It was really nice.
That's awesome.
Are you
Yeah.
even gonna move? Are you gonna like stay at home with mom and dad, or are you guys gonna be on campus?
I'm gonna be on campus.
course,
I
okay,
gotta
right.
get a little space. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. Now, this team, the years of success, the tradition of success, it just goes on and on and on and on. And you guys had a remarkable season last year. You guys won a CCS title as well as a league title, but you guys wanted to make a deeper run in NorCal's when you guys lost to Amador Valley in the first round. Would you say this season for you guys is a revenge season?
That's a good question. I would say we're definitely coming out with some pretty hefty goals. I would
Yep.
say last season, we were a strong team and we went the distance. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted in NorCal's, and hopefully this year we'll go further. One thing that we're working on this year is taking one game at a time.
Right.
Last season was really great, and this season is really great. I love the team. I think we're really strong and we're really competitive. So taking every game, by itself is really important to us too.
And that's got to be pretty hard, just the fact with taking it one game at a time. You got a Stampede here,
Yeah.
and you got pool play that's going on, and then next thing you know, there's a chance that you guys are going to be in a bracket.
Yeah.
So taking that one game at a time, that you guys are literally doing that 90 minutes. It's timed. Does that switch up your approach compared to your typical 7-inning games in 90 minutes, personally?
I would say you definitely have to pace yourself because you're going to play maybe more than one game a day. So like for today, we have 2 games. I would say coming with an approach is
Sure.
really important. So that means maybe I know I'm going to pitch the second game, so I really lock in before the first game on hitting, defense, stuff like that. So breaking it up that way and knowing like game by game what you need to do for your team is also really important.
And on the note of the Stampede too, and speaking on behalf of yourself and your team, we've talked to several other players here for several different teams. This tournament means a lot to these teams. On behalf of yourself and your team, tell me what the Livermore Stampede means to you and why it's so important.
Yeah, it's really important for us. It's a chance to play some other teams that aren't in our league and aren't local, and that means like the best competition and skills in the area. So the best talent, and that's what we want to play to get better. We went to the Michelle Crew Classic last week and we faced some really good competition, and we came out of that feeling a lot more confident in ourselves and our playing ability. And hopefully this tournament does the same, and we
Yep.
want to be challenged at the highest level.
Yeah, when you face, how many teams were there? 32 teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of teams, and the fact that you guys play 6 overall, that is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I mean, and with the Livermore Stampede, this is also an excellent preview on what you could possibly see come the CCS playoffs and NorCal's.
Yeah.
It's very possible. So just having that good experience, it helps along the way, and you get to know more about these teams as we get closer to the end of the regular season and into the postseason. Okay, but enough of the serious softball talk. But I got to ask you, okay, so you have 3 items: your glove, your bat, or your cleats. Which one are you bringing with you? Like, which item is the most important that you need?
And you're leaving the other 2 behind. You don't get to have them. You're playing a game. You have 1 item out of those 3. The other 2 are left at home.
Do I have other shoes besides the cleats?
No.
I'd probably say cleats, just because comfort is key. I feel like I could make something happen without a glove or a bat, but cleats, I don't know. I think that's key to the game. I think you got to have a good pair of cleats.
How do you feel? Your first cleats answer. We've asked everyone that question.
You know what? I get that.
Everyone said glove or bat.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could use other stuff as a glove or bat. I don't know. I feel like you can't really replace your shoes.
I love the creativity, Ava. I love it.
Hey, the one and only Ava Bulanti. Ava, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to you and the team the rest of the way.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Cover Cal High podcast, and we have a special guest. Gold medalist, absolute standout, University of Oklahoma, the one and only Keilani Ricketts.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is bringing some flashbacks being on Cal High Sports again.
Yeah.
I know Robert's gonna be very happy. Lots of coverage from you when you were at Midi, so he'll be happy to hear. Here you are. So full circle moment. It's great.
Yeah, this is awesome. I played in this tournament here, and I had some amazing memories playing high school softball here against some great competition. So it's cool to be back here and being here and seeing you guys here as well covering this.
Yeah, this isn't just your typical 7-inning game. It's timed where you really have to get off to a fast start, and you really have to maintain that throughout 90 minutes, because a lot of these games that we're covering, they're not going the 7 innings.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and a lot of these girls that they play the competitive travel ball in the summer, they're kind of used to that, and so being able to bring that to the high school game, it brings a little bit of intensity that they're used to in the summer, so it's great to be able to see bring it into high school.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, and so, I mean, we pulled you right as Midi-Cal were finishing off on this field. It was scoreless going to the 7th. They just won, 1-0, so sorry to pull you away, but talk about the importance of this team, Midi, here, you know, your history with them, your time playing with them, and then seeing the program still doing what it did back when you were there.
Yeah, of course, and it's a sistership. It really is being a part of the Midi program. It was such an honor for me to be able to wear Monarchs across my chest when I was there. I always grew up wanting to play for Midi, and it was just the time of my life playing there. And then to be able to see Megan Yockey take over the program, and my coach at the time, Sarah Thomas, she's there, and to be able to see that and see the girls proudly represent the Monarchs the way we did, it's really special to see and to be able to keep that connection with them.
Absolutely, and you talk about with a lot, I mean, there's a lot of D1 talent, I mean, on this Monarch squad, but just there's a lot of D1 talent all throughout this Stampede. I mean, you've played it. I mean, there's so many D1 prospects. There's recruiters out here looking at certain athletes and, you know, what they bring to the table. You know, with the underclassmen that are going through the recruiting process, what's the best advice that you would give them?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I love to tell girls is just to don't limit yourself. For me, you know, I grew up in the Bay Area, and when I first got introduced to the recruiting process, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll stay in NorCal, maybe I'll stay in the Bay. But for me, a college coach told me to be able to make a big list and to go through the recruiting process and do your research on the schools. And that's when I started to realize, you know, I think I want to go to a big football school. I think I want to go farther away from get away from California. And so that's the biggest thing, is just be able to don't limit yourself to a small school or just a big school or a school close to home. Just because you never know what you want. And for me, it's like I was able to leave home, and I was able to venture out more than I thought I was able to.
And then I got to ask you, too, is I'm going to give you a big old broad picture. Your entire softball career, as young as you can remember, to the last day you stepped on the field as a player, your favorite moment.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm still actually currently playing, so maybe I haven't had it yet. But
Hey, I stand corrected. So sorry. I'm reflecting so far.
Oh, man. Let's see. I would have to say that when I was part of the University of Oklahoma and we won the 2013 national championship game, it was my senior year, and my junior year we lost in game 3 of the national championship game in heartbreaking fashion. And so for us to be able to come together as a team, that was huge. And it was huge for me as a player just to realize how championships, it really does take the whole team. You can't just put the team on your back and go. You have to just come together in adversity, and that's what makes you stronger.
Okay, that was your favorite moment by far, but what was your favorite moment as a Monarch?
Oh, boy. Oh, that's a tough one. We had some good times. I would say like when we went undefeated my senior year, and we were considered number 1 in the nation. But also, I think a big turning point for us was winning this tournament. That was, that kind of put Midi on the map for us and our team. When we were able to, we came second. We fell short, I want to say my sophomore year or my junior year. And then my senior year, we ended up beating the number 1 team. And it was a pivotal moment for us in our program, just at a national level.
And it's great experience because this is the best of NorCal. Because there's a really good chance that you're going to see these teams later on in the postseason.
Oh yeah, and a lot of these girls that I faced, I faced them in college. I faced them at the World Series, so it was special to be able to do that in our high school uniforms, and then being able to do it collegiately as well.
Hey, maybe you're putting some good jujus out there for those Monarchs right now. You're here talking about that win from when you were in your senior year, winning the Stampede. They just got a big win here against Cal, so maybe some good jujus in the air with that.
I know. You need to have me come interview more often during the games. Yeah, the walk-off win.
I love it.
My goodness. Over the course of your high school career and your college and professional career, just playing softball, who's that one person that has pushed you to be at your very best?
I think a big one for me, especially while I was at Midi, was Coach Sue Phillips. I played basketball. I was on varsity. I feel like I was more of a basketball player at Midi than I was softball because I was with basketball the entire time from September until March, and then it was like, softball, and all of a sudden I would join the team halfway through the year. But she pushed me, and she would use the phrase sense of urgency and just really commanded the best out of us. Didn't matter if it was just a shoot around, if it was practice, or it didn't matter who we were playing at the game. And I think that really helped me for those big moments, especially even if it was on the softball field, on the mound. I think that really just helped me in those pressure situations.
That was a fantastic answer. I'm not one bit surprised. We've always talked about Sue Phillips and her legacy. Something about it represents to present day for you.
Oh yeah, it definitely it wasn't just basketball. It correlates to all sports and just like on and off the field as well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why she is a Hall of Fame coach.
Amen.
There's a
absolutely.
reason. There is an absolute reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this thing going on social media right now. So you have 3 items and you accidentally forget 2 of them, and but you need one. It's either your bat, your glove, or your cleats. Which one are you bringing with you? And you got to leave 2 behind.
I would have to say my cleats because no one has my size.
Wow.
So I have to bring my cleats. I could go borrow another lefty's glove. I'll have to flip over a righty's glove. And, I can borrow a bat. We'll make it work.
Good answer. Cleats has been the rarest answer so far.
Really? Yeah, I did forget my cleats one time when I was at OU, and I had to borrow the next biggest size cleats, and it was like a size and a half too small. So
that just sounds awful.
cleats is my answer for that.
Fair enough. I respect it.
Hey, the one and only Keilani Ricketts. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, welcome back to the Cover Cal High podcast. We're now joined by Jayda Crosby, Hailey King, 2 Division I prospects that they're now committed, and they're going to be taking their D1 talents to the next level. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, with Jayda, you're going to Fresno State, and Hailey, you're going to UC Riverside. Just talk about, what made you decide to stay close to home, staying in state.
Okay. So my original plan was actually to go out of state. Every school I ever contacted was out of state, but all those schools ended up not working out, money and time was just ticking, So then once UC Riverside reached out to me, I knew it was home the second I stepped on, and it's far enough away from my parents. But it's also nice to stay in SoCal with the weather and everything, so it just ended up being a perfect fit in the right timing.
Yeah, I wanted to stay close to home so my parents could come to every game and watch, and just I don't know, I just like having my family around and just so they can just be a part of it the whole time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tying into that, close to home, but talk about both you guys' picks. Why did you pick your guys' selective schools between the 2 of you?
So for me, it's a new coaching staff. She's starting the program over. She's going to build it all the way up, and she's going to start fresh, essentially. And I feel like I'm a part of that new generation of that school, and I'm just excited to build the program up.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel a lot of my coaches have been like Coach Stacy and just hardcore and just wanting to bring their players up the whole time, and that's just something I wanted to be a part of. I just wanted to just even if they had a rough day, they're still doing things and just getting better the whole time, and that's something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cal is having a remarkable season. You guys want to have the season like you guys did 2 years ago when you guys went on to win an NCS title. And right now you guys are in a very competitive East Bay League. I mean, I don't think it has been crazy ever. It's been a long time since this league has been pretty wild. I mean, teams are beating each other up, and you just don't know what to expect. And it's very entertaining for media, for sure, because it's like, we don't know what to expect. You know, just talk about the fight and the grind it takes for you guys, what it's going to take for you guys to come out on top.
I think just 2 years ago, we got to remember that we are that team. We are as competitive as everyone else in our league, and we play in, like you said, one of the hardest leagues in the area, and we play in California. That's where some of the best softball comes from in the U.S., and I think that we just have to remember that we can be the best. And yeah, we play some good players. So
I just think that we just have a lot of confidence in ourselves, because even if we have a rough game like today and yesterday, I just think that even though that happened, we still are know each other's abilities and what we're gonna do in the future. And even though we lost some key players last year, I think that we're still filling in those holes right now too.
So I gotta know with the Stampede here, right? I mean, we've talked about so many different angles, everyone's opinions on it, why it's so important to so many teams here. But I want to ask you guys, each of you, whoever wants to answer first, regarding what do you look forward to the most with the Stampede? When you know it's coming up and you got that circle on your calendar for the 2 and potentially 3 days into this tournament, what do you look forward to the most?
I look for just we get hard competition the whole time. It's the best of the best teams. You're not really seeing teams that you wouldn't see before, and I just think that the pitchers that are
You're okay.
The pitchers that are harder to hit, college girls, you just get to face them the whole time, and I don't know, that's just the hard competition.
I think it makes it fun because it's all cross town, you know. We know a lot of these teams, and now we all get to come together and play for a tournament, and who wins the tournament, which makes it kind of fun.
Right, and both of you play travel ball, if I recall correctly. And just talk about the grind that it takes. I mean, travel ball can be year-round for some, and then not only that, you got high school ball. Just talk about, the mental stage for you guys when it comes to just being on the grind day in, day out with both travel ball and high school ball.
I think I can speak for Jayda and I. We both are on the grind all the time. We train 7 days a week. There's never a day we're not thinking about softball, even if it's just thinking about our mental approaches. I think high school is important for mental as well because it can be rough for a lot of people, and it's important to stay in that mindset because you can lose it pretty easily, but just the grind in general is just long and it's hard, but we push through it. So.
Yeah. I like the grind because I just feel that I feel like I'm just softball all day, every day. So I just like that high school and travel, it's different. High school, you get to have more chances to be just experience a lot more, and travel, it's you're seeing teams around the whole world. So I like that aspect, but I also like that we get to just have the same team for a certain amount of years, 4 years, and you just play with those same girls and just create connections the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to say, not to mention, too, you guys are grinding softball in the spring, but before that, you guys play flag football.
Yeah.
Also in the fall, right?
Yep.
I mean, do those sports translate? I
think that for me, I felt like it was a getaway almost. I was still having a lot of fun playing the sport, but it was kind of I didn't have to think about softball as much, which sounds bad, but it's just letting my mind take a little break was really nice, and I got a lot of conditioning as well out of it.
I like that we didn't have a lot of pressure, because no one's seen flag football before, so we just got to come out and just throw the ball around and just
I was gonna say, you're the field general out there, right? You're a quarterback. You're slinging it. I love it.
And you were running routes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
dynamic duo.
Yeah, that dynamic.
It's like
duo.
you and I.
Yeah, just like that dynamic duo. Yeah, business is business, but would you say flag football, those first 2 years has helped you, in terms of conditioning? Did that help you guys along the way?
Oh, for sure. I felt like running was a breeze when I came to softball. I was we really don't run a lot here.
Standing around out here.
Yeah, it was life-changing. I actually was so conditioned, and after I was just wow, I really need to start just going outside and running.
I love that. Love it.
And that had to be just a different, thing to adjust because, I feel like when you start up a new sport in the state for the CIF, I mean, it was really just knowing the rules to begin with, and it feels it's sometimes to this day we don't even know part of the rules as well.
Figure it out as we go.
Year by year.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
That's literally what the officials would say.
Now, I mean, I can imagine you're going to be very busy once you get to Fresno and Riverside, but maybe some club flag football thrown in the mix too, maybe?
Hey, why not? Yeah.
Oh, let's go. All right.
Division 1 soon,
Yeah,
so.
squeeze it in. Exactly.
Might make
You
it
got the
fun.
time.
Yeah.
What's time?
It's going to be a sport in the Olympics come 2028.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Might have to be there.
All right, perfect.
I had to start
Hey,
going.
you said you love the grind, so keep at it.
Jayda Crosby as quarterback. Yeah.
There we
can
go.
make that work. Yep.
In good shape. Good shape.
Yep. Hailey King lining up as receiver.
Yep.
But
back to the softball
back
talk.
to the softball
I
talk.
know.
But, on a serious note, I mean, there are so many young recruiters, underclassmen that, they're trying to get looked at and they want to take their talents to the next level for collegiate softball. So for you to being part of that recruiting process, what's the best advice that you would give the underclassmen?
I'd say trust the process. It sounds really cliche, and everyone would tell me that when I was like coming to my lowest point, thinking nothing was going to happen for me, but it really does all happen for a reason, and you'll find your home eventually.
Yeah, mine's probably just like have fun because like anyone can be there at any time, so it's just like your moment to like find what school you want to go to.
Okay, so we have the Crumble Cookies game of the week, and these are our featured game of the week.
Yep.
And then we got Chick-fil-A. Which one would you go with? It's got to be one or the other.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
As long as
good
there's sauce.
answer.
Oh, you got to have the sauce. You got to have the
Got it.
Chick-fil-A
Okay,
sauce.
then I'm done.
Okay, another social media question. Okay, so the 3 most important necessities that you need to bring to a softball game: your cleats, your glove, and your bat. You leave 2 of them by accident, but you have to take one of those items. Which one would you take and why?
You go first.
I'd probably take my glove because I feel that
Yep.
I could use anyone's bat, and the cleats I can just wear tennis shoes. I forgot it before, so
So you've been here before. You've been down this road. He's a vet, seasoned
I
vet.
think for me, I'd take my glove too because I use a different glove brand than a lot of people, so it's
Okay.
hard to come by.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Custom made.
it's an Icona. It's more of a baseball brand, but
Okay.
it's made
Searching
out
it.
of kangaroo skin.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, go
Interesting
get that,
fact.
go
Jayda
get that
hates it.
sponsor. Yeah, go get that sponsor. Get that promo code.
Icona.
Hailey King, Jayda Crosby, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Of course.
What a day.
What a day. Have a day.
Have a day, right?
Have a day.
We've interviewed a lot of amazing athletes that are going
Yeah.
to be taking their talents to D1 levels. It's awesome.
Yeah. And then how about Keilani, who was at the D1 level?
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right.
That was
That's
a
right.
surprise. So,
Yep.
yeah, what a cool experience.
Yeah.
I love that we're able to, showcase all these very talented young girl athletes, student athletes out here that perform at the highest level and get the recognition that they deserve and be able to get the inside to it, joining us on the podcast. So I had an absolute blast.
Yeah, no, it was an absolute blast. And hearing some of their answers, and not only that, they had some funny answers, but also, just to hear them from a professional standpoint. I thought, sometimes with high school athletes, sometimes they in the moment, they don't know what to say.
Sure.
Right? But, all of these athletes, as a matter of fact, they handled these answers and they answered them professionally.
Yeah.
And, it just speaks about their volume of what they are as a person and what they bring on and off the field.
And it speaks on top of that, too, of the way that they carry themselves and present themselves is from the families and the programs that they come from, right?
Yep.
Because it has to originate from somewhere. So, absolutely.
Yep.
So many fantastic young student athletes, again, doing what they do here.
I
So
mean,
it's great.
with this tournament, it's a guarantee that you have 16 of the best programs out in softball, and there's a reason why. The programs do a wonderful job over here, and they just look to carry that tradition going forward.
Yeah.
They look to carry that tradition. We do have an update. The game that to my right.
Yeah.
Or wait, that is to my right.
Camera
To
right,
my left,
your
camera
left.
wise to my right.
You were
but
right.
Liberty takes down Sheldon 7-3,
Huge.
2-0 in pool play.
Yeah.
A big win for those Lions.
And it was a tight game for quite some time. It was 2-3, 3-3. So, then to pull away late. So, that's big for those Lions.
And when that game was going on, Mitty was facing Cal.
As we mentioned, with Keilani on the set here, too.
Yep, and
Touched
that
on
game ended on a walk-off. Mitty taking it, winning 1-0.
That shows you the Livermore Stampede is no joke. It is so much
Nope.
fun. Anything can happen. Anyone can show up, and it's great. It's so fun.
And it's interesting because, yesterday it was it was like offensive fireworks. That's what the Milpitas man would say. Offensive fireworks. But a lot of these games were low scoring.
Yeah, no, they were. I'd say a large majority. Outside of this Liberty game, all of them were pretty low scoring. You had a tie 1-1 with who was that?
That was Freedom and Alameda.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Where I had then Granada, Crondelet here was low scoring as well.
And it depended on a big knock from Aubrey Ingram.
Yep, that's right.
So, that 2-0. You know, I mean, hey, with these tournaments, all it takes is one knock.
That's right. Yeah.
And we saw that with Midi. We saw that with Granada. It's just, you never know what to expect in this tournament.
And what we saw into the afternoon, midday into now the afternoon here is the wind was a big factor. I saw a lot of shots that had a chance to get over the fence. The wind was howling. I'm sure you guys saw throughout the episode, whether it was my hair, my toupee going, or the tent. The wind was a factor. The balls were dying and dropping, making it hard for that outfield to make a play on the ball.
Or even some of these foul balls. We're putting our cameras on the line here.
Don't tell Robert that. We're saving this tent. There's a mortar zone for sure.
Yeah, no. The cameras are fine, Robert. Don't worry. They're fine. Don't worry. We'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah.
But, just final thoughts from the Stampede.
Fantastic, because this was my first Livermore Stampede.
Yeah.
I never got the experience to come out here before. I've covered lots of softball, but never the Stampede. I've always heard all the fantastic things about it, and it lives up to the expectation.
Yeah.
And I've already have a large amount of respect for all these softball players and the level that they play at, but it's definitely gained to a whole nother level after seeing game after game, playing multiple games, as I think Ava Bulanti mentioned that you have to pace yourself. So
right.
It's fantastic. It shows the true athleticism. And the day's not over. Teams are still rolling up. I see Benicia here behind camera showing up.
They got a big game coming up later against St. Francis.
So there's still a lot of coverage to come.
Yeah, and not just that, but not just from a competitive standpoint. There's a lot of bonding with NorCal softball. I mean, when these teams face each other, they know each other off the field because they may play with each other or their teammates when it comes to travel ball.
That's right.
Over the summer.
I'd say more than half these girls, if not 3/4, all play travel ball.
Yep.
So they really get, year-round softball, ultimately, is what it comes down to,
right.
and it shows on the field.
Yeah. No, this is a wonderful Stampede. I mean, shout out Livermore for putting this together, accommodating us for
that tri-tip, Jake.
Yes.
Oh, so I never circled back. It was phenomenal. So good.
Chico
barbecue, man. I had the tri-tip sandwich, and because it's so good, I went back for the teriyaki rice and steak bowl. Phenomenal.
Yeah, after we wrap up this podcast, I'm going to get one more for the road.
You got to. The tri-tip's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
So
it's up there.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's up there with Pitt.
Amen.
Pitt's tri-tip. I'm just saying.
I say the best? I think this might be the best tri-tip I've had. That's a big statement.
What's Pitt football going to say about that?
Talk to my attorneys. No, Pitt tri-tip's great. They're always great hosts. But this was darn good. So it was a blast.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hopefully come back again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll definitely be back next
Love
year.
it.
I mean, last year it was just tough because we didn't have the Stampede. I mean, Mother Nature decided
she has the ultimate say.
Yeah, she does.
She
does have the ultimate say. And, it was tough last year because they had to cancel this big tournament. And, they were able to put together a doubleheader late last minute, but it just wasn't the same compared to what you see with the Stampede when you get so much action that takes place.
Yep. Yeah. And more action to come because we're wrapping up the podcast here.
We are.
But there's some big games to come where we actually have our very own Aubrey on site getting ready to cover a big game tonight. And more action to come where then we're going to update on our podcast on Monday.
Yep.
About that. So tell us a little more about it.
Yeah, so we're going to recap all the games that took place in the Stampede with pool play and bracket play. And then we're going to really find out what the Milpitas man decided to do with the softball polls.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some major chaos. Are we going to see Liberty? Are we going to see Benicia? We don't know.
They're trying to burst that bubble.
Who
said that?
Where's Cal going to be?
Yeah, exactly. Who said that earlier? Trying to burst
that was Liberty.
That was Liberty. That's right. Yeah, man.
They burst the bubble.
Who said what? But they said they want to burst the bubble.
Yep.
They're coming for the Milpitas man, Agent Soriano. I love it.
Okay, that about does it. Join us on Monday when we recap the Livermore Stampede, pool play, bracket play. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful tournament. We'll see you on Monday.